Yes, you
Okay.
can proceed, Natalie.
Yes,
Thank you.
let's see if it works better right now. Can you see my screen? Guys, can you see my screen right now?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Please give me feedback just to move forward. So, thank you again for joining us, and let's move forward with the topic which I really want to discuss with you. And the topic is how to earn on your supply chain optimization. Okay, again, I'm sure that supply chain, this is actually what takes most of your time in your everyday routine. This is actually why you spend your time in office. This is how you earn money in this life. And of course, you want to be as efficient as possible. So today's agenda for us will be, we will discuss, again, streamlined solution. We will have a brief overview about how practically to earn on your supply chain, because literally, we are sitting on thousands and sometimes millions, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars, only and instead of using them efficiently, only just because we don't know how to create forecast which is accurate, just because we don't know how to manage our supply chain. And this is actually what we will discuss today. After that, I will be asking several questions about your company and about problems which you are facing right now, if you're talking about supply chain, but sometimes not only supply chain. If you're talking about marketing, if you're talking about sales, very often we can improve those KPIs, marketing, sales, financial KPIs, when we are improving our supply chain strategy, supply chain methodology, supply chain management. So this is also important. And after that, on practice, we will show you actually how to achieve your goals. You have to make sure that your supply chain is efficient. Okay, let's move forward. I'm here to represent Streamline Solution. Again, this is artificial intelligence-based solution, which is on the market from 2009. We have partners all around the world who are helping our clients to optimize their supply chain. And actually, this is what is our strong point. Because while developing our solution, we are considering experience of our partners and best practices which they use working with their clients. So what does it mean? It means that we are building our solution, our strategies, having access to most successful business cases worldwide. After that, we can literally extract this knowledge and share with you. Okay, so this is important, what I really want you to remember. And if you're talking about problems we solve or models which we have in Streamline with what we are working, first of all, this is demand planning. And actually, while I'm talking about these models which we have, because again, each solution has to be close and has to be very relevant to real world. And when we are creating solution, we are trying to create solution. Each button you see over there, each process, each formula has a very simple purpose. And this purpose is to help you overcome some problems which you have in your business, okay? And first problem with which our clients and our partners' clients are coming to us usually is inaccurate demand planning. And actually this word combination, demand planning and accuracy, actually we have to think about it very philosophical, because you will never be able to achieve 100% accuracy, but at the same time, you know, it's like perfection. You will never get over there, but you always want to get as close as possible. And this as close as possible has to be 99%, 99.9, right? So it has to be as close as possible. And using artificial intelligence, which helps, which is programmed actually to make human-like decision. If we're talking about demand planning and supply planning, we are capable of getting to almost 100%. We are almost over there. So this is first thing you have to know about our solution when we are moving forward with our clients. Second module or second big idea which we have in our company is supply chain. And again, if you're talking about demand planning, it's accuracy. If you're talking about supply planning, it's efficiency. Okay, and after that, of course, we are talking about inventory planning and, of course, efficiency and material planning. It is also important if you're talking about manufacturers. So, Truman, right now, I will actually need your help again. I know that we have more and more people joining us, and unfortunately, I didn't have chance. No, actually, fortunately, right now I have chance to say hello to everyone. And I would like to ask a question to those who are joining us, those who joined us recently. Again, countries and companies and industries. So what I also need industries. Are we talking right now with manufacturers, with retailers, with wholesalers? For me to build this presentation, this information is crucial. So if you can respond to my question and Truman just can transfer the answer to me, I would really appreciate it.
Okay, fantastic. Natalie, there's people waiting in the lobby. Sorry, if you can assist me with that. I see I've yield my hosting completely to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
What am I supposed to do? I have to let them in. No?
Yes, if you can just let them in, so that you don't interrupt the presentation.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you.
We will continue party after we have everyone else joined. Okay, wonderful. So, welcome everyone who is joining just right now. Okay, welcome everyone. And the question is next. Since we are all connected to supply chain planning, please let us know actually company you're representing, industry you're working in, and at the same time, country where you're from. Okay, and we are moving forward with presentation. Okay, and again,
Cops don't look into other cops, Andrew. You of all people should know that.
we're attending possible.
Do that commercial.
Okay, let's move forward.
Sorry, buddy, but we're running out of options.
A lawyer can help. Just tell them everything you told us.
Christ said no lawyer, try to stay.
Sorry, may I ask all the new colleagues that have just joined the call if you can just mute yourself? Thank you.
Okay, so again, let's discuss actually problems which we are helping our clients to solve. So first of all, it's inaccurate demand forecasting. After that, we have to work with inventory, and we have to make sure that inventory is just enough, not too much. Again, because if you're talking about excessive inventory, it means that very often, this is not very often, quite, I would say almost all the time, this is frozen capital, correct? And I'm sure that you have this problem as well. If you're talking about shortages in inventory, again, we have problem which will end up with revenue, right? Because shortages in inventory, these are lost sales, these are lost clients, at least today, maybe with a high probability in future, and clients which are not receiving goods or services from us are receiving those services from our competitors, correct? Because again, demand exists on this market, and if you are not satisfying this demand will be satisfied by your competitor, and of course this is not something you want. And one more problem which we are solving Of course, this is too much manual work in Excel. I'm sure that at least 50% of you are using Excel while having your everyday planning. So please let me know who's using Excel for demand planning. If you can give me this answer, it would be really nice. And one more problem which we are solving is, of course, communication problem. Very often, unfortunately, till this time, even though we have all possible solution for communication, very often inside of companies, we have a problem because departments do not communicate between each other. And if we're talking about demand and supply chain, yes, there is some kind of communication. But if we're talking about marketing, sales, very often those departments are just working separately. And very often team from marketing has little understanding of what's happening with supply chain, for example, or what's happening with manufacturing departments, right? And this is a huge problem. And this is also what we are solving as a platform for S&OP implementation. Okay, let's move forward. Let's move forward. And to be efficient, because again, in business, everything is about efficiency. Everything is about efficient processes. And Streamline, which I am representing, is not different. We are talking about efficiency, and to be efficient, we're using artificial intelligence. And as I already mentioned, that artificial intelligence simply helps us to analyze millions of different cases, and as a result, while doing demand forecasting, even you're using a machine, even though you're using automation, as this automation is very close to human-like behavior. So while you're doing demand forecasting with Streamline, it is close to like you're working next to a senior manager who is doing this job for, let's say, like 35 years, right? And knows everything, knows SKUs he's working with, can feel the market perfectly, and at the same time has all tools to make everything statistically correct. So this human-like experience behavior is something that artificial intelligence, which is coded in Streamline, is reproducing. Hope it's clear. Let's move forward. Just to give you a short overview of companies which are working with Streamline, and companies who are our clients, and companies we can help actually making their processes more efficient, earn higher revenue: manufacturers, distributors, and retailers. So while I was asking you about industries you are representing, I just wanted to understand, do you want me to focus on manufacturing? And while we will be doing demo for you, discuss manufacturers and features and best practices for manufacturing. Do you want me to discuss more about distribution features and distribution workflow? Or maybe perhaps you represent retail and you want to focus on retail. So I know that we have a lot from here, a lot of attendees, Africa, and I'm sure that you are familiar with, for example, Panda, a huge retailer, right? One of the biggest in Middle East, and they are using Streamline. I'm sure that you are absolutely familiar with Olympus. Again, they are using Streamline. And if we're talking about industries we are working with, you can find pharmacy, Ganama Lab here. You can find automotive distributors, auto parts distributors, Transgold. We are working with furniture manufacturers and many different industries, just name it. So if you're talking about supply chain, yes, we are working, we are helping them. I will not take too much of your time reading all of these beautiful feedback from our clients and partners as well. But what I want to share with you, that it is statistically proven that Streamline is capable of saving at least 1 or 2% of revenue, which our clients have. This is again important to know, because if you have again 1 or 2% of revenue, this is huge amount of your money which can end up at the end of the year in your pocket. So let's discuss a little bit. Again, I will ask this again and again, and really this is what I want to know. Guys, please share with me information, your industry. Okay, so just one word: pharmacy, pharma, or furniture, you're creating furniture, or it's food and beverage. Do we have some answers here? Unfortunately, I don't see. Okay, in such case, actually, let's move forward to short.
Just had a comment, Natalie. So Ricky is saying, how do we solve the shortages of inventory problem? In my company, we're experiencing this problem because of suppliers' long manufacturing times. Our suppliers usually say the shortage is due to material shortages from their suppliers. Localization is not applicable in our country. So what would you say in response to that? Thank you.
So first of all, okay, let me actually start. So how do we work with it? First of all, inventory problem, right? So first of all, we start with demand forecasting. And again, this is what, if you're talking about suppliers, in Streamline, there is a concept which we are calling extended S&OP. Okay, so extended, if you're talking about S&OP, I'm sure you're familiar with this term. This is sales and operation planning. Okay, and if you're talking about extended S&OP or mature S&OP, this is sales and operation planning, but not only inside of the company, but also with suppliers and clients, or with suppliers or clients. Okay, so right now we will share with you how Streamline look. We will share with you how visible are all processes when you're using Streamline, okay? And this visibility can be extended to your suppliers. And again, working with suppliers, this is business. At the same time, suppliers are human, right? So it's always about communication. It's always about, and when I'm talking about communication, it's not only being friendly, drinking coffee. It's about sharing information. So it will be easier for company to work when you have visibility. Visibility means quick decision making. Visibility means quick right managing, decision managing movements. And it is only possible when you have this data, when you have this information. So what do we recommend? We do recommend actually, first of all, to analyze data which you already have, to understand your demand, and at the same time, your demand has to be clear to your suppliers long term before you need this supply. Does it make sense for you? So if you are capable of having clear vision inside of your company and share this vision in advance with your suppliers, and at the same time understanding their picture, understanding their problem, and knowing in advance that they have some disruptions, that they have some problems, in such case, you will be able actually to survive our period. We know that right now we are in the period of turbulence. Economy is shaking, and I don't believe that it will finish this year or next year or maybe in 3 years. So we already survived COVID period. Thanks God we survived. Congratulations to everyone. Right now we are surviving period when after that we had a huge crisis, logistic crisis, connected with China, with different processes actually in the economy. Right now we have very bad situations in Europe, right? So again, and what is absolutely stable right now is instability in economy. So when you can better understand and predict situation which will be in future, and if you are capable of sharing this information with your suppliers, you will be in much better positions than your competitors. So let's move forward actually to seeing how can we do it in practice. Okay. And I will ask Amy to share her screen and support me with product demonstration.
Well, hello everyone. It's nice to meet all of you. Now, if only Natalie, you will give me the permission to share the screen, we can start with the demo.
Okay, just give me a second. Here you go.
Okay, great. So anyway, let's get started. First of all, to give you an initial look at Streamline, I would love for you to appreciate the layout of it and just how straightforward it is. So we have a main menu on the left, which follows all of the main processes that we'll go through for today. So there is, of course, our starting tab where we connect the data. Then we have the demand for the forecasting, inventory for planning, and also the analytical ports with reports and dashboards. So to start with the first one, we'll need to connect the data, of course. And Streamline is a kind of solution that works on top of the ERP system, so it has to be connected to your original data source. For that, we'll need to, of course, connect Streamline to the ERP system, and we can do that by creating a new project within Streamline. So while we're attempting to create a new project, Streamline will suggest for us to do the connection part. And what is beautiful about Streamline is how easy that can be. Now we have already a number of inbuilt connectors, which you can see presented right here, but the list goes on and stretches far more than the names you can see here, although they are quite, it is quite impressive of the list already. So with the help of those connectors, we can shorten the implementation time for Streamline to about 4 weeks time. And that is not me being empty-worded. This is the actual figures that we go forward with. And we can always guarantee that our customers will get the services very quick and that they can start seeing the results produced by Streamline almost as soon as the project is created. So this is something that we're aiming for, and we believe that no one is as efficient as us on the market. So yeah, just to explore what Streamline has to offer, let's first choose one of the inbuilt examples. Those are very good for the demo. And today we will be showing you inventory planning by month. And if there would be a need for us to explore something else, let us know, all right? So first of all, we're currently on the demand stage, and the demand tab can be roughly divided into 4 sections of the screen. So first of all, we're seeing our product here, right here. There is our table for the sales and operation processes, the model which Streamline built according to the data, and also forecasting properties panel. So let's go through all of that one by one. And first, let me introduce to you our product tree. And for that, let's choose one of the categories to go deeper and see how the SKUs inside of it look. So this particular structure is what Streamline takes from the ERP system and recreates it here, but in the form of a tree, with one very important addition. And I'm sure you'll appreciate that because this particular feature, which we in Streamline call the money tree, is meant to show just how much money the business is losing due to the improper inventory management. So the figures you're seeing here, which are colored in red, those are the projected losses due to the stockouts. And the figures in green, those would be projected losses due to the overstocks. And of course, we can see just how much that would be in total. So that would be for our tree, which we can see on different levels, even according to the different categories or locations, channels, depending on what your customer structure, your business structure demands. And onto the forecast. So they are presented here in the table, which Streamline will need at least 24 months of to build a forecast. The forecast is presented in blue for the past periods and in red for the future ones. Same colors will also be visible on our graph below that highlights the general forecasting model chosen for this particular SKU. And if you pay closer attention, for all of the SKUs, that would be a different model. And Streamline chooses it by itself by using the automatic selection, which enables Streamline's AI to do the job for you, basically. If you want to do some modifications, you can, of course, do that. So we can manually change the model to something that we need. We can add price elasticity if needed, holidays, define our own seasonality patterns, add promotions, and even forecast the demand of newer items that do not yet have any sales history of their own by borrowing the model from an existing SKU. So just for you to see how it works, there are a lot of options for us to accomplish right here in this particular step. But demand stage is mostly the theoretical one. The practical part comes with the inventory, where we are getting the chance to modify our situations and create a reordering plan. So for our replenishment, we'll need not only the configuration and calculation of our demand, but also some of the additional parameters here, which for this example are defined as items on hand, items in transitions, the lead times, the ordering cycle, also minimum lot rounder restrictions, which you can add, and of course, the service level percentage that defines our safety stock. And to answer the question on how do we manage our suppliers' unpredictability and being overloaded with orders, so there are several ways. First of all, we need to adjust for our service level to have sufficient safety stock for us to cover any demand unpredictability. Secondly, we can of course add some lead time variance if there are several delays to our process, and of course adjust it right here, which we can do right in Streamline. And for the most part, the problem is with the replenishment strategy. That is, for the majority of the companies would be min-max, while we suggest to create a periodic strategy instead. And by this, we will be creating predictable orders for the suppliers and doing so for the smaller quantities, but at defined dates, which Streamline also does for you. So as we move forward, here we can see our current order, which is presented as a part of the table. But Streamline also has a functionality that allows for us to export this information. And for that, we can click on this Planned Orders window button and open a separate window that will be highlighting not only what we were to purchase, but also when the next order should be placed. So again, the plan, the predictability is already in there. But let's not stop just there. Streamline also has the functionality for us to export this order back into the ERP system by just one click of this Create button. And that allows for us to not only have the visibility and predictability of the orders, but also synchronization between the systems. So not only the data is pulled into Streamline, but also transferred back.
Can I interrupt just for a second? Actually, this is a perfect illustration of what I was just saying while I answered that question, right? Communication between partners. So if you're talking about your business and your suppliers, they are your partner in business. And if they have this visibility, first of all, if you have this visibility, if you understand which purchase orders and when you want to issue, and of course, this starts with the right workflow in your company. And if you can share this with your partners, with your suppliers, in such case, you can have much more predictable supply flow. So you will see what is coming, what is not coming, and it will give you at least time to make right managing decision if there are some disruptions. I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much, Em, and let's move forward.
Okay, so this would be our practical part. And once it is over, we can refer to our analytics. And Streamline has a beautiful tool for us to evaluate just how business is doing. That would be our reports. So there are plenty of very sophisticated reports that you can see here. Some of them are dedicated specifically to the forecasting accuracy, like we can consider our forecasting performance, define the date for it, and of course also see how the absolute percentage errors and MAPEs would look like for you to evaluate just how accurate the business are. We of course can even go forward and compare our plan versus actual sales, which is always relevant while we're planning. We can evaluate our projected values, historical data, but the most important of all reports would be, of course, the GPIs. Now, while all of the reports in Streamline have their own control panel, that means that you can view this data on very different level and adjust just what you're seeing in the reports. For this particular report, we can create several levels of aggregation, or even we can add filters to filter out just the items we'd like to see. So let's summarize everything by all, and that gives us the perfect outlook on what the company is doing right now, where we're heading, and what the current situation is. But to make this particular set of data even more visual, we have dashboards for you. And the dashboards are here to make those kind of KPIs presentable and able to show to the higher audience within the company. So we're not only evaluating our current values, we can go into the past and even adjust what set point in time we're comparing the data to. Now, while we're on this particular stage, let's also explore Streamline's simulation capability. And for that, we have a very neat feature, which is called Time Machine. And just as the name suggests, it allows for us to travel into the future and test just what we are planning, what we're adjusting in Streamline, and what can come up out of it in the future. So we can simply select just how many days, months into the future we'd like to travel to, and Streamline will create those projections and how the situation is changing. So you can see for yourself where you're heading, how your strategy is working, and also share this information with your team.
Can I elaborate a little bit on it just to make it simple what this time machine does? This is really absolutely new, and you cannot find any solutions of the market who can present time machine and what is a practical value of it. So remember, and of course, I will be talking about communication inside of your team, inside of your business. Just imagine that you have several departments. So don't imagine that it really happens in your company. You have several departments, and in order to ensure that your company is as efficient as possible, your departments have to share information. And if you're talking about S&OP, marketing and sales department and demand forecasting department, they should have several different forecasts for future demand, correct? And the same happens if you're talking about supply chain management. So what is important? If you're talking about big companies, and let's say that your team members are discussing several different demand forecasting. So before making decision, before applying something in practice in real life, you want to have stress test, right? You want to see what will happen if, let's say, we start moving forward according to strategy which is offered by marketing department, or what will happen if we will reject what marketing department is offering to us, or maybe what will happen if we increase increase something just because our sales team is telling us that in future we will have a sales increase, and they are offering us to order more goods, let's say, to stay in stock. So all of these assumptions, and between all of these assumptions, there are some really win-win strategies. There are some strategies which will help your company to work more efficiently. But at the same time, there are some strategies, there are some assumptions which are not good for you. So in order to move forward, you can have this possibility to have stress test to see how will your inventory look like in case you are applying some ideas. And again, instead of guessing, you can use a solution and you can see in real data using our analytics, how will your supply chain management and your supply chain decisions look in future, and what will it for your company in future? Does it make sense? I hope so. So let's move forward. Emmy, is there something else you would like to show to us?
So that would be it for today, unless we have specific questions regarding the software.
Okay, so do you have some questions?
Any questions from anybody? I don't see any hands, no comments. So I take it that there's no questions, which would mean the presentation was terrific, well delivered. It was so clear that it left everybody with no questions. If there's still any questions, okay, I see Ricky is saying there's no questions. Thank you, Ricky. And thank you to everybody that joined the call. I see some people have taken the opportunity. We've sent the link to book a demo. So I see some people have already done that. So do make use of this opportunity to book your demo session. We'll be very happy to engage further and to do a customized presentation for your company. And of course, to zoom in and just, find out more about what your business is currently experiencing, the type of challenges that you're grappling with, and how we can best, assist with that through Streamline, the supply chain planning software that's AI powered. So please do reach out to us. You've got all the details. And for those that had registered for the event, you are also going to get the recording of this very session post-event. So with that being said, I just need to check again if there's any other questions, hands. I don't see any questions. Natalie, Emmy, thank you so much for your presentation and those insights, and such a powerful session once again that we've just had. It's always a pleasure to host you, and we look forward to more of these sessions, but most importantly, we look forward to more impact and assisting, whether it's multinational corporates or your SMEs, wherever you are in the world. Do reach out to us. You've got all the details. And that brings us to the end. Natalie, I'm not sure, Emmy, any closing remarks or anything?
Actually, thank you so much for inviting us. It's always a pleasure to join your events. Thank you so much again, and talk to you soon. If you need any help, just let us know.
Fantastic. Those are the last words from Natalie and Amy, our partners from the USA. And I take it that brings us to the end. For those that have opted for the procurement masterclass, we are going to now go to that separate session. So do accept the invitation for the masterclass straight after this call. So in less than a minute, you are going to get a request to join the room. So if you don't, you know what to do. The instructions were sent to everybody. So yeah, I think that brings us to the end. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day, evening. Bye.
Cheers, everybody.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, bye.